I spend a lot of time like everybody else and we're commenting on what's going on. What is going on? And so because this planet and this reality has been plunged into a great deal of a negative charge and negativity because of the suppression of humanity and the human spirit, we actually end up commenting on a lot of the negative aspects of what's going on. Okay? And I don't want you folks just to think that that's all I'm into, because that's not true. Let's just look back and let's look at the positive, and not even the positive. Let's go beyond duality and the magnificent things that I've shared with you here today. First of all, the incredible understanding that you are universes yourselves and you are equal with the creator of this universe. And the fact that you exist infinitely. I mean, that's big stuff. That's a lot of good stuff to get a handle on. The fact that we're all galaxies, that we're all stars and we're all planets. And we're so interwoven and we're so one. But habitually, we just tend to hold and latch onto the deconstructive side of the process and the drama and the negativity. So I just ask you to look at the day as a whole and look at the things that I've shared with you. Because, you know, when I talk about the moon, yeah. When I talk about flesh and blood rituals in the church, that can be viewed as negative, but that's really a good thing, to expose it. You know, I think that's a positive thing, right? So it's how you want to view it, it's how you want to approach things. So I ask that you try and be a bit more upbeat about what we've done here today. I was intense at times, had to get the inner warrior thing going out, maybe a bit macho at times, but so I'm bloke, can't handle it, can't help it. I just got to do this because I'm dealing with very, very powerful energies in this universe. Like I said, it's not just about you guys in this room. And it happens at every talk. I've got to send a message to some beings that are present that many people are not aware of. So when I did my talk in Spain, we had ruling elite remote viewing the event. And I saw them floating right in the middle of the room. And when that footage comes out, you'll see me walk right to the edge of the stage and I just went, "You're being played for fools." And I just looked straight out into the open space on top of everyone's heads. Because I knew they were there and I let them know that I knew they were there. And I spoke straight to the ruling elite to let them know that they are being played for fools on this planet, big time. And so is the shadow government. There's only a handful of people in the shadow government that know what's going on for real. The rest of them are all just, they're gone. These angelic looking ETs are in contact with them and they're gone. They love these ETs. And so there's so much going on behind the scenes, guys. Like I said, can do another talk for another day. No dramas at all. Full of drama, but no worries at all. So I'd like you to have a more of a positive feel about today and understand that the outcome is incredible, like becoming a universal creator of light and love and life and creating your own universe through the construct of light, and what we're about to become is really incredible. I mean, that's awesome. No more slavery. Wow. Freedom and sovereignty. I think that's a really big deal. So have a process of that and see how you feel. We do tend to grasp onto the negativity on the negative process and the deconstruction side of the ascension process. So process yourselves first. Try not to worry about the drama too much and just focus on yourself, because the more you focus on yourself, the more you change yourself. Like Michael Jackson sang that song, Man in the Mirror. Love that song. That's one of the best songs ever written. Because charity starts at home. You've got to change yourself first. Then you vibrate differently, then the universe rearranges everything around you instantly. And your life changes. It does. I know that for a fact for myself. So change yourselves first. And then everything will change around you. And you won't have all this fear and drama. I don't fear any of the processes coming. I celebrate them. The deconstruction of this reality, it's a celebration, as far as I'm concerned. It's like labour pains, you know, for Mother Earth to birth this new way of life. It's like a mother giving birth and only focusing on the labour pains, not giving the thought to the child that's about to be born. That is what you are habitually doing. That is what we all are habitually doing, me inclusive. All right, so let's get beyond that. Let's not just focus on the labour pains, and let's start putting our awareness and our attention and our love to that child that's about to be born, this new life. Fantastic. All right, so anybody got any questions on... So enthusiastic. Hang on, we're going to bring around a microphone to you.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Regarding the pyramids, the bigger pyramids at Giza, I've been under the impression they're built by ETs, but where from? And from the top down, I've heard. And was it done on or off Earth's planet? Thank you.
Okay. First of all, the top-down theory has to do with the energetic template, okay? Because it is, like I shared that diagram before about the integration point and understanding what the capstone on the pyramid missing actually means, why it's missing, why it's not there, because that's the integration point. So as you go up the dimensions, that's where everything integrates in that point there. So that's about returning back to integration, back to oneness. So I'm not sharing with you, you know, I'm not a Freemason or anything. I know there's that building across the road there. There's one of their little places there. My father used to be a Freemason, but I don't have anything to do with them. I had to actually spend a lot of time getting those entities out of my system, to be honest, because of the bloodline thing. So the capstone and the pyramid missing, the original intention of that notion has to do with the integration point of all life. Now, the pyramids were built by a group of ETs. I was here at the time as part of that group, okay? And we came from Orion and Sirius and some other places. And what we did is we built the pyramids exactly to replicate the belt stars of Orion, because what we were doing is anchoring the male energy into the Earth paradigm. Anchor Watt replicates Alpha Draconis. All the monuments of Anchor Watt is an exact replication on the Earth here of Alpha Draconis. So you have the main players of the star systems out in the cosmos being replicated here on Earth, because it's anchoring the energies here. Okay? That's what it's all about. The male warring and controlling energy that got transmuted over in the Orion system was anchored here. All right? So that can continue to play out, and that's the energy that's been, an aspect of that has been suppressing the feminine. So it was part of an ingredient of the whole recipe that was required, or a variable in the equation, just to get different mindsets understanding what I'm saying, that was required in creating the right environment here so we could have the appropriate set of experiences. Yeah? So those pyramids helped to anchor that energy as part of making up what we needed here as an energetic environment. Oh, you're so welcome. Yeah, and they were created 12,500 years ago, even more, a bit more than that. 12,500. Yeah. And when I saw that movie 10,000 BC, I thought, wow, they got the time frame right, but it's not how they were built, because we built them using sound. Yeah, just by vibration. You alter the rate of the spin of the atom, changes the molecule, the vibration of the molecule, alters the density. That's the basic principle, right? We're all capable of doing that. Do we have that ability right now? No. Some people can do the kinetic thing. I don't have that switched on at the moment, but soon we'll be able to do it. Yeah. Yeah, and they were built really fast, very easily, because the rock's levitated. Yeah, it's just sound. That's all it is. If you think that's crazy, just look at Nikola Tesla's research. It's all there. Yeah, he created a module the size of a brick to power every home eternally, forever, no pollution. JP Morgan steps up to him and says, "Can we put a meter on it?" He said, "No." He goes, "Okay, I'm going to buy you out." He bought him out and they discredited him, and that's the rest is history. All his plans got shelved, everything hidden. Because he discovered zero-point energy back in the 20s. So please understand what's going on here. Yeah. Yes, yes. Get the microphone over there. Yeah.
In your model of the universe, in all the levels, when you talk about when the veil is lifted, in the 3D, so if the veil is lifted, how far to can, you know,
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. People think that we're still in the 3D and we're still yet to get to the 4D and get to the 5D. That's not the case. We're already integrating. Well, you're even integrating with your I am right now. So there's moments in your day where you're behaving in a particular way that's just purely 5D. So I want you to understand, I'll give you another example. If you go to a healer and you're getting a healer on your chakras, it's 4D. So we're already living 4D. We're already living 5D. There's moments when you're 5D. It's beautiful, right? So it's not like this destination you have to get to. We're already being it. We're already integrating. We're bringing more of ourselves in all the time. It's just going to get to the point where the 3 and the 4D will transmute, and that's when you walk through those doorways. You'll just know. And because the concept of healing, for example, itself is 4D. The moment you get into 5D, my model of the universe, because there's other people talking 5D out there, but I don't agree with what they're saying about 5D. I'm sharing with you my model of what 5D is. There's no healers, because nothing needs healing, because everything's in oneness and harmony with the flow of life. So there's nothing wrong, nothing needs healing. Do you get what I'm saying? No one's sick, no one's out of balance, right? So, so the 4D healers are important. It's my issue with that is that when they make it the whole, when they make their healing modalities everything, that's where I have an issue, okay? And when they use other beings' energies to do the healing, that's where I have an issue, okay? Because they should be bringing their light out and the person's light out and utilising whatever energetic patterns are required there together in relationship with that person. Bring any energy, whatever colour you need. You need the violet flame? Don't bring it from Saint Germain. Because any true ascended masters say, you got the universe inside of you, do it yourself. Okay? And what's happening, I'm going to get into this healer stuff because it's a big deal. I'm sorry if I'm going to nudge some people here, but I'm only ever going to be real with people, okay? What's happening is it's a tagging process. This is going to sound really shocking what I'm about to say, but it's a tagging process. So when you're doing a healing and you're bringing another entity's energy in, that entity is implanting its energy into that person, right? It's like taking a drug, okay? So that or putting a tag into that person, energetic tag. So when it comes to harvest time for them, because this is what they said to me, they're coming to harvest their human herd, right? So because we feed them, we externalise, we give our power away to them, right? So they'll know who's got the vibrational tags, just like you have a device and you've tagged an animal and you can track it around the world, right? Well, you've got to understand, when you do a healing and they put the energy into you, they can implant an energetic implant, because I've had these energetic implants and probably still got them, right? And they know where you are, they track you, right? So you've got to understand what's happening here. So I say to people is, I would recommend that you use the light from each person, bring it out, and the person that's being healed, and the two of you together, and it's the wording, you know? What energies are required to heal this person now? Because a person can go to a healer and get an entity removed like I did, like a dark entity, and you get it pulled out of your auric system or your field, right? You go away, a few days later, it's back in. And, you know, it happened over and over again to me. And then I realised, oh, universal contract. You know, hello. Because I was meant to have a set of experiences, circumstances and experiences with that entity. And until I had that learning, then it left. Right? So you can't override universal law. Right? So like the question you asked me, there's a lot involved in that answer if you really go into it.
Just a little bit. If I choose by 21st of March 2013 to be in the 5th dimension fully, and you're saying the Earth's crust implodes on itself, So my choice will be to experience that how I want to experience. Is that what you're saying?
My understanding is that we're going to go through these doorways into the fifth dimension, right? So that means the crust and everything in these lower domains will be immune from that process because it's a whole different reality there. It's a whole different ecosystem. We're talking about going into a different paradigm, a different dimensional level of life. So it's a whole separate ecosystem.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
Weren't quite sure of what you were saying.
Yeah.
And just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, no, honestly, because I know I've said a lot today, so I'm sure people won't quite grasp what I'm actually trying to say. Now, when we go through those doorways, we'll get into the fifth dimension, and it'll be completely, it's a different, because I've been there, it's a different ecosystem. It's a whole different reality on this planet, and coincides with this reality. Yeah, so when you get there, all the animals and all the plants live off light. No one eats anybody else. No one consumes anything else. Everything lives off light energy. Do you know what I mean? So when the Earth's crust is a part of this vibrational paradigm, this is what's going to go. All the 3D and all the 4D will be, in that moment, transmuted, right? And then when we go to the fifth dimension, that is the platform that we will be for ascension, because the moment Mother Earth straightens up on her axis, in that moment when she hits centre, all the dimensional realities, which will be left because the 3 and the 4D will have, you know, pretty much transmuted by then, whatever's left just implodes. We implode, she implodes, we do it symbiotically, and then we birth. That seed sprouts, that universal seed, and she expresses herself as a being of light, and so do we in that moment. That's my understanding of the process. Could be wrong, but that's how I understand it to be. Yeah.
George, you mentioned the Minoan civilization, Stonehenge, the Egyptian pyramids, and also the Australian Aborigines. Is there a connection, a direct connection between these several groups?
I feel that in ancient times there was, because Australian Aborigines can do night walk, and I've experienced it with them. I was with an elder, and we were at a corroboree here in South Australia, and with a click of her fingers, we were outside Uluru. Right? That's by location. That's night walk for the Aborigines, because you can talk to park rangers, and they'll tell you they will be at a campsite with an Aborigine that night, and they won't sleep very long. They'll go to bed at 11. 3 hours sleep, then they'll drive the next day, drive for kilometres and kilometres and kilometres, and they'll turn up at another Aboriginal site, which is 500-600 kilometres away, and there's a guy sitting there waiting for him again. Right? And they've experienced that. So, because apparently we're the most advanced civilization, right? Yeah. Because the ancient civilizations didn't use this technology. This is primitive. Electricity, plastic, internal combustion engines to get around in. This is primitive. When we're talking Atlantean technology, they're not going to leave residue. There is some. I mean, anybody that works with nuclear energy will understand the deposits that were found in Africa that have depleted, that show that they're over 120,000 years old. So what are uranium deposits in Africa doing over 120,000 years old? Right? These are the questions we should be asking. So they're not going to leave much residue. A lot of the older technologies, ancient technologies, used a different kind of technology, not like we have today, where it's so artificial, synthetic and primitive. Plastics and electricity and, so backwards, it's ridiculous. Yeah. So yeah, they are interconnected. They communicated a lot. That's why I showed that picture there, and it was before, and it had Mayan watering hole on that Aboriginal picture of the circle and the cross. They were very much connected. Yeah.
First of all, George, thank you very much for today. A lot has been leading up to today for me when it comes to energies and what I've been feeling lately. So I give you a little gift. It's a piece of moldavite. I'm not sure if you like this or not, but it's my gift to you. So thank you very much. And I feel that moldavite has played a big part in education for me in this
Wow.
in this realm, and both this realm and the invisible realm.
Thank you.
What I wanted to ask you, do you know much about the ayahuasca rituals that are used by the shamans in the Amazon, and if they are able to come into the Western world
Okay.
for us to use?
What I'll share about that is, so whenever we externalize, what's happened is this universal membrane has been created. So if you're going to come back out of there, there's only one way to do it, and that's organically. What the ayahuasca will do will help you reach paradigms here, but you won't breach that void, because you can't do it through any external means whatsoever. Okay? So it can help you get to a certain level of awareness, right? And people go, but I got to the vibrational core of life itself. But what they got to was the vibrational patterns of life in these vibrational patterns of reality. Because they can go into the atom or whatever and take a cosmic ride, but they're taking cosmic rides on these vibrational patterns. Right? So this process is foolproof. You can't breach that void through any external means whatsoever. You have to go in. Remember the great man once said, the kingdom of heaven is within? You know, you've got to go in there to make it happen. You can't do it any other way. Yeah, so that's... I've talked to people that have had some unsavoury experiences with it. It's like if someone smokes pot, right? What it does is it takes the aura and goes, it expands it. That's why you're reaching, getting higher, because you're expanding your aura. But it creates holes, for example, and allows energies to come in and affect people. So that's why some people get affected psychologically with those sort of things, because they've got entities that are starting to screw with their minds. So what I would say is, my recommendations are not to go there. But if it's something you feel you need to experience, then that's your journey, you know, by all means. I don't feel it's good for me, but it might be good for you. You know, I can't judge. But it's just, in my experience in life, at this point in time, my journey, I don't recommend any external substances or any external means. I mean, I'm not even recommending meditating using another being's energy. So to take a substance, I wouldn't recommend that either. Yeah.
So the best way is to let the light out.
Start bringing your own inner light out. And in the beginning, it's difficult because, like I said, we have this worthiness issue. It's deep underlying inside of our psyche. So keep at it, and then you just get through this threshold, and then your life just changes. And honestly, if I was to read some of those emails I get to, you'd be, I'm brought to tears. People whose lives have turned around, people who are on, drug addicts, like hardcore drug addicts. Let's say, George, I was about to commit suicide and I came across your material. I'm off the drugs and life's good now. To me, wow. That one email, hey, talk about inspiration.
They speak a lot of, what's going on with the benevolent races within Earth and the way, how they try to submit us to their conditionings and mould us into their filthy ways and whatnot, So,
Yeah, I don't know if it's come back from the future, but I know that beings had a lot of foresight into the future, and they were giving a lot of their interpretations, because if they're going to control a reality, they want to control every aspect of it. Our genetics, our food, our water, our spiritual understandings, the whole lot. They'll come at us from every possible conceivable angle. They won't leave a stone unturned. Even the indigenous cultures are affected by this, big time, right? More than they'd like to admit, okay? So my feeling is that they have continually projected into the future to see what the outcome of this reality was going to be. They've got a pretty good feel of the way it's heading. But right at the moment, some of them think they're really in control. The wiser ones in the dark agenda, they've let go. Yeah, no, they're very low down the rank. oh yeah, they're right at the bottom. You know, they're just above us. You know, no, I'm talking about intergalactic beings. And some members of the ruling elite, there'll be a handful of the Illuminati. You know, out of 100, there'll be a handful that know and have they know where this reality's going now. It's over. You know? Yeah. But the rest of them, there's a group of them who are just like, well, if we can't have it, no one can have it, and they're hell-bent on destroying it. They're doing the best, chemtrails, this, that, and the other. They're doing everything they possibly can to destroy humanity and destroy the planet. That's their mission. But what they don't understand, there's another aspect to the dark agenda that's stopping them from doing it. And then there's light beings on the positive side that are stopping them from doing it. It's a big drama, you know. It's, answers are not so simple and straightforward because there's just so many variables in everything that's going on. There's never, I'll give you the big clue. If you really want to understand what's going on, don't ever look for one answer because there isn't. Okay? There's many, many answers to every question, to everything that's going on. And this is really important what I'm about to share with you. Very, very powerful. There is a really big difference between this one and this one. This one is the natural unfoldment of life and reality, which is in synchronization with the intention of life in an organic construct. This one is an authoritarian, synthetic construct which is overlaid over the top of the natural order. If you use that energy, you will be forever caught in the paradigm of duality. If you want to escape the hold these beings have on you, you say universal law, L-O-R-E. Because what you're telling them is you are now no longer in their paradigm. You've escaped that paradigm and you're back in synchronization, in harmony and oneness with the natural unfoldment of life. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, this is big. Because this understanding overrides the intention of any being in the universe. This overrides any form of manipulation in the universe, any form of control. Right? This is powerful stuff. To know that you're infinite, to know that you're eternal, and to know the difference between that law and that law is absolutely phenomenal. The magnitude of what I just shared with you. This is the core to self-empowerment. This is understanding that nothing has it over you anymore. Finished. Game over. Free. You are sovereign. You are free. That is reality. That is reality. Because it's got to start in here, right? You're free in here first, then it starts to manifest around there, you outside of you. I'm free.
Hi, George. Thank you very much
Hi.
for today. Really enjoyed it. I wanted to ask you about ascending. And so basically from tomorrow onwards for the next 2 years, we have the opportunity to decide when we graduate and go into ascension. My question is do we decide, like we do when we come together as families with our children and our husbands and wives and things like that, that we also have that same choice to go and ascend all together and be together?
Okay. Do you ultimately have the choice? No, you don't. That's a bit of a shock, right? Yes, you have a choice from this level. We were discussing that in the tea room just then. What's free will? Because I touched on it before. Do we have free will? Yes, we do. No, we don't. So if you look at it from the higher aspect of yourself up here, you don't have free will. The decision's already made. Think of it like you're in a movie. Because people will say, well, if its decision's already made, what are you doing talking to us then? Why bother? Right? Honestly. Sorry if I'm answering your questions, right? Right? But it's like this. We've all entered this reality. We're all role-playing for one another. So it's a movie. So if one actor pulls out, what happens to the script of that movie? Doesn't quite work, does it? Right? And then people get deprived of their experiences they would have had in their interactions. You would have been deprived of this experience we're having today. You know? And it just doesn't fit. So I know this will do your head in a bit, but because it does my head in, it has. All right. Because we're going beyond the mind, that's why it does the head in. Just had to add that bit in. All right? So, yes, it's important to feel like you've got a decision to make, to continue to experience your experiences here and to work through them and continue to gain the wisdom, okay? And on the other part, symbiotically from that, let go and just release and surrender to your greatest self and let that guide you. Let the greater you guide you to whichever your path is, because your husband or your daughter or your son or your mother or your sister or brother, whoever, they might not be ascending. It might not be their turn. Do you understand what we're saying?
Not at the same time, but they will eventually get there after this date of the 21st of March 2013.
Well, it might be a few more eons in other cycles, in other systems.
Right.
Right? Everybody will do it in their own time, because when I entered the universe and began this journey, some people might have come in after me. Right?
So there's no way of knowing, or...
Eventually you'll get to a point where you'll know. You'll know when... You'll just feel it. You'll know. Like, I know some of my friends who aren't going to ascend.
Okay.
I already know.
But do you know when your friends will ascend before you?
Yeah. Some I feel will go through together. Some might go before I do. Yeah.
So it's just keeping aware and
it's that awareness. It's because I've got the point of reference of the fifth dimension.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember that vibration.
Mm-hmm.
I know that vibration. I feel that vibration.
Mm-hmm.
So people begin to emanate that vibration, and it's like, yeah, they're going to go through. And then there's other people who'll stay right down to right the very end. Because remember, like, I'll get biblical again just for a moment. To the very last days, they bought, they sold, they built, they celebrated to the last days. So please understand, some people might be in the lineups going on the ships, and just as they're going up that ramp to go on a ship, they'll just snap out of that trance and go, what am I doing here? And I'll turn around and walk off. And that was their experience, to see how close they were lured into going off-world. Right? So everyone's got their own journey happening. It's not one rule fits all. Please understand that. And we're all going to do it in our own time, in our own way. That's really important to understand. And you've got to start entertaining the idea that some of your friends and family may not take that journey with you. And when that time comes for people to go their own separate ways, we're not going to be like we are now. Like, I'm a father of 2 boys. I've gone through that process. But we're going to have so much of a grander awareness when the time comes. So we won't be emotionally attached and charged like we are now. We won't have a grieving process. I went through a grieving process because I did it early. Yeah? So we can feel as parents or as brothers or as sisters that at times we may not make it through, or somebody else we know may not make it through. And that's okay. It's about unconditional love. If you want your son, if I wanted my son to go through, and I just started going hard at it, stop playing your computer games, stop doing this, you've got to ascend, you've got to ascend. Right? That's conditional love. That's control. That's totally not unconditional love. So I just gently guide them. I tell them that they're really doing it hard for themselves, giving up those computer games. It's like a drug addict. He's in for a very painful time, especially my youngest son. Right? He's quite addicted to some of these games. So he's in for a very, very hard time. Yeah. And I warned him. But he wants to continue to explore that path. So I just continue just to warn him, and I'm not going to get all forceful about it. He's just going to learn for himself. Mind it up. He doesn't ascend because he's just so addicted to technology. I mean, you know, all this stuff. Look at this stuff. This stuff here. Skype. What a great invention Skype is. Love it. You know, can I walk away from it? Of course I can. You know, because that's another thing. Okay, get a load of this. We use the internet now, Skype, right? Okay, what does speaking in tongues truly mean? Okay, doesn't mean gibbering some language from ancient times in a new age church, like they do with all this healing stuff that they carry on with. Right? That's not speaking in tongues. That's channeling. Right? I'll tell you the true speaking in tongues what it is. That's to have a room like this full of every race and creed on the planet. And to be able to just say something once, and for every single race and creed to exactly understand you in their tongue perfectly in that moment. Because I wouldn't be talking to them through the mouth from the mind. I'll have a heart-to-heart connection. And we will communicate from one heart to the other. That's how we communicate in the fifth dimension. It's incredible. I'm not talking telepathy here. Telepathic is all 4D. Right? That's speaking in tongues. And, get a load of this, being able to sit here and talk to anyone anywhere in the world. Talk to a stadium full of people over the other side of the world. Not even that, in their homes, anywhere. To have that power of consciousness, of level of awareness and ability, sounds fantastical, doesn't it? Totally, totally possible. Totally doable. No dramas at all. This is what awaits us. And the ones that hear us, they're meant to hear us. And the ones that don't, they won't. Wait and see. You'll be talking to people. It's just me, crazy fool, up front. It's like we're walking down a path. That's what I say to people. We're all just strolling down this path. And, you know, you've taken a stroll in the woods. You know, you can't all walk abreast all at the same time, can you? So there's some of us who are meandering down the path ahead of the rest of the group. And I'm just one of those at the front. I'm just turning around and coming, saying, hey, guess what's coming down the path? That's all I'm doing. Everyone's taking that journey. So wait and see what happens.